And that's after.
Notice that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
But the winner.
You don't know what.
We start learning. We're in the middle of the second chapter of Tanya. Okay, everybody calm down.
Impossible.
You're on.
Go to the drug to Elliot, yeah.
Just mention Mashiach and then.
So I didn't really want to do this class today because we didn't learn last week's, and the next 2 Sundays I'm not going to be here again. Next Sunday I'm going to be away, and the following Sunday is Tisha B'Av, so we're not going to have the 2 Sunday classes. So really, I wanted to extend the, just to start a class in the middle with but you want to come and learn, so we'll learn.
Okay.
Learning never ends. So so next Sunday not going to be a class, and the following Sunday is not going to be a class because
After Tisha B'Av.
after Tisha B'Av, correct.
A date we're not supposed to know when it is.
Tisha B'Av is on Shabbos, next Shabbos, and the fast day is on Sunday, and we have to know it. We have to know what to fast.
Yeah.
So the Alter Rebbe in chapter 2 introduces us to the concept of a godly soul, which we also been learning in Tanya, in the day-to-day Tanya, the aspect of where this godly soul emanates from, and which is, as we explained in the day-to-day Tanya, the concept of the name of God, which emanates in Kabalah from Yud K Vav K, the tetragram, right? The name of God, Yud K Vav K, which shows on the concept in the Rambam Maimonides says it's the concept of the infinite aspect of godliness. So then we have the concept of coming from infinity to a finite entity. So that's why I gave you this piece of paper, which the Zohar and the Arizal and you have the Tanya explains that that there's a 4-world process. 4-world. Now again, that we call something a world in English, a world. You have to realize this is a spiritual concept. It's not a physical concept. I don't want you to think of a physical world. There's no physical. There's not 4 physical worlds. There's 4 spiritual entities, 4 spiritual realities, 4 spiritual dimensions that bring about the called the Seder in Kabbalah. It's called the Seder Shtalshus, means the descent of the light of God as it comes down from level to level into a physical reality. So you have right in front of you, you have these 4 worlds again: Olam Atzilus, the world of emanation, the world of creation, the world of formation, and ultimately to the world of action, physical, the world of Asiyah. So this is what is put on the Zohar, and the Zohar basis is on the Torah. So if the Zohar didn't come up with these worlds, based on psukim, on verses of the Torah, which the Torah also expresses itself in that kind of way. So we say in every day on our davening, we say the Siddur. I've said this, the Siddur.
Just getting it.
We say, where?
Got it?
No, a prayer book. It's a chumash.
Ah, there.
In our davening, we once showed you this already. In the beginning of the davening, we say the blessing of the soul. Right after the Ashayotza on page 5, we say Lakai Neshama Shenasata Bi, that God, my soul, my God, the soul which you have given within me is Tahirahi, is pure. Pure. That's one level. That is in Chassidus, that's the level of Atzilus, purity, total oneness, pure. There's no, it's the concept of holiness. Then it says, Ata Barasa, you have created it. That's the world of Bria. Ata Yatsaita, you have formed it. That's the world of Yetzira, the world of formation. Ata Nafachta Bi, you breathed it in me. The Bi, Nafachta Bi, you breathed within me. That's based on the verse that the Eibishter blew within a human being. The Eibishter created a human being body. He created two entities. If you look in the book of Genesis, created an entity of the body, and then by Yipach Be'apav Nishmas Chayim, that the God blew within a person a breath of life. So that is the way the soul comes in, connects with a physical body. Now the Eibishter wanted, see, everything else in the creation, when God created everything else, for all the worlds, animals, man and animal were both created on the sixth day of creation. When God created all animals and all trees and everything, he created them as one entity. The body and the soul was one entity. God said, let there be animal, and it came out an animal. God said, let there be a tree, and it came out a tree. So the tree was already part of its soul. When it comes to a human being, the Torah says differently. The Torah says that God created man, created a human being, and then he blew within this human being, this physical entity, he blew within it a soul. So there's two concepts, the body and the soul. And then that starts the journey. That's what we learned last week. When does the journey start of the integration, the unity of the body and the soul? That is the ultimate unity. The ultimate purpose in life is the unity, the coming together of body and soul. And the more we have this integrated process ultimately come into reality, better you have the unity and the better you complete the mission. I'm going to say to you a Yom Yom yesterday, and this Yom Yom is give me that blue book on the beamer there. The blue book, that's a Yom Yom. It would be better to read it out of a book. I read you something the Rebbe writes yesterday. The Rebbe wrote his book Yom Yom in 1994, and he not 1944. 1944. Sorry, I apologize. And he called it Yom Yom, day to day, which he said every day we should learn something every day. So yesterday he writes as follows on the 24th day of Tammuz. It says that Tzemach Tzedek, third Lubavitcher Rebbe, used to say, a pnimi is a concept of something that's an inner aspect. A pnimi, somebody who has an inner life. There's two. That's what I said. Also, you have body and soul. You have the body is an outer expression and the soul is an inner expression. So you can live an outer expression life. You can be called a chitzay. You're basically living a bodily life, and it's all about your guf, which is true. You have Baruch Hashem. We all have a body, and we can live a outer expression life, or we can live an inner expression. In yeshiva, if you wanted to scream at somebody, you'd say you're a chitzin. That was the curse word, right? You're a chitzin. Right?
It means what? What does that mean?
It means you're fake.
Okay.
You're not real. You're external, right? You're an external. Your life is all about externals. You're acting. You're a good actor, right? So you're basically a chitzin. You're a person that lives an external life. You're a person that everything is about your external being. It's all about what people are going to think about you, or what people are going to say about you. You have to be a pnimi. You need to be a person that's an inner person. So the Rebbe writes, a pnimi is a chassid whom the very notion of asking a Rebbe a blessing for success in the Avodah. That means if you're a real pnimi, if you're a real inner person, then you wouldn't even ask a blessing that you should be successful in the service of God. Because a pnimi knows why. Because a pnimi understands that the approach should be let the work fall heavily on the people. That's an expression of paro. Pnimi understands that if he wants to, real service is self-service. He's looking for a shortcut, he's looking for a blessing, he's looking for, I said in the morning, he's looking for the fast pill.
Yeah.
He's looking for the fast way, then you're not a pnimi, that's a chitzin. A chitzin is looking for the fast way out, the easy way out. So he'll go to a rebbe and ask him for a blessing.
But if we get a blessing from a rebbe, don't you have to develop it, don't you have?
I understand, but start to begin with. Pnimi says, I don't need a bracha from a rebbe. I need to do it myself. That's it. To work.
Yeah.
Start your work. Now that was a tzemach said. I think you should ask a bracha from a rebbe for this. That would be good because you always can do better. But a real pnimi, meaning a real inner person, realizes that there's no shortcuts.
One who like doesn't more or less deserve it and it happens?
Okay.
Yeah, I got my voice.
So speak for yourself, Moshe.
Yesterday, we do something else.
Speak for yourself.
This Chayenu. So he brings down a story here. He brings down a story. The Rebbe writes over here, he says, I'm not the Rebbe, the story over here, it says in the bottom over here, a chassid once came to the Tzemach Tzedek, the same rabbi, the third Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he asked him for a blessing for his grandson with good memory, that he should be blessed with good memory. For then the boy would retain what he heard from the Rebbe. He would listen, he would learn, and then automatically he will be a God-fearing Jew because he'll listen to the teachings and he'll become a God-fearing Jew because he'll be able to retain the lesson. Tzemach Tzedek, this third Lubavitcher, responded, for more than 50 years, my grandfather, the Alter Rebbe, his grandfather was the Alter Rebbe, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, the one who wrote the Tanya, which you learned today. My father-in-law, the Mittler Rebbe, was the second Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe's son. And I have been urging Jews to acquire a fear of God through the labors of their own service. It should not come automatically. Not looking for automatic stuff. We're not looking for something that comes freebie. We're not looking for freebies. Okay, you have expression like what a seina matanas yichya. A person that hates gifts lives a longer life. But a person should not look for freebies. What are we looking for freebies? Or like another expression like what a person wants to have one amount of his own success, then nine amounts of somebody else's success. So I don't know about this generation, but in general, a person, human being, the Eibishter created a human being that he should want his own avodah. He should have his own identity. His identity should not be somebody else's identity, somebody else's success, somebody else's accomplishment. Everybody should want their own accomplishment. Therefore, I am telling you this, that even though the Alter Rebbe is going to say that we all need each other, and ultimately we all need a tzaddik in a generation, we all need a tzaddik. Nevertheless, we are all needed in the world. We all are unique. We all are unique. And therefore, we all need our own avodah. We all need our own, what we're here on the world for. And not the tzaddik, and not anybody can take away mine or your avodah. So if you don't do it, you can't say I'm relying on somebody else going to do it. If you don't do it, you can't say my avodah is not needed. My service in God is not needed. It can be accomplished by somebody else. It cannot be accomplished by somebody else. And to do your avodah, and to do my avodah, to do my service, takes a lot of work. Not an easy thing to accomplish. Not an easy thing to accomplish. That's a pnimi. A pnimi understands that the learning Torah and rabbis and tzaddikim and wonderful things are only there to inspire each and every one of us to take strap his boots on and do what he's got to do. Because if he's not going to do it, then there's going to be a loss of an avodah. There's going to be a loss in this world. That's it. It's to be total a loss in this world. And nobody can do that for him.
The Rebbe also had used to teach all the children.
Right? Yeah. Tamin, right. Yagaitu, Matsasi, Loyagati, the Pasuk says, Loyagati, Yagaiti, Veloy Matsasi. If a person says, I've tried, I have not found, Al Tamin, don't believe him. Person says, Yagaiti, I have tried, Veloy Matsasi, I have not found. The person says, Loyagati, I didn't try, and I found, Al Tamin, don't believe him.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, the only way it works is your guide to your matzasi. Somebody that says, I have searched and I have found. So the Eibishter wants that every single one of us should search. And if we search, if we want to be a pnimi, if we want to search, we will ultimately find. If we don't want to search, you want to live a outer life, a fake life, that's your choice. Because a lot of people live their whole life, a fake life. Not in this room, but in general, people live fake kind of a life, right? But now, Rebbe, once a young boy asked the Rebbe, came into the Rebbe Yechidus, a non-religious boy, and he said to the Rebbe that, I'm not a religious young man. And my question is that, am I doing something right? Because I don't think I'll ever be able to be like a religious, man, very religious man. I'm not far away from that, starting my journey. So my journey is so far. So therefore, will I ever be, will I be worth anything? Will I ever be worth anything? It's like a student going into yeshiva, right? If the journey of everybody in the yeshiva is to be the Rosh Yeshiva, to be the next head guy. The next head guy. Well, the yeshiva has 500 students. It's not going to all be 500 head guys. It's not a reality. And some people are going to be the head, and some people are not going to be that. So the question is, if I sign up to be the head, and after a couple of months I realize I'm not going to be the head, do I have any value? Right. So the Rebbe said, I'm going to ask you a question. Sound like an intelligent young man. I'm going to ask you a question. You have a ladder. Ladder is standing against a big building. So it has 100 rungs on this ladder. And there's two guys on the ladder. One on top of the ladder and one on the bottom of the ladder. Higher. Who's going higher? Who's going higher? The one on the top or the one on the bottom? Yeah. So the young man said, what do you mean? The one on the top. The Rebbe said, no, it depends if the one on the top is continue going or the one on the bottom continue to go up. So if the one on the top is not moving or is going down and the one on the bottom is moving higher, so then the one on the bottom is going higher. So it doesn't depend where you are on the ladder. It doesn't depend where you're on the ladder. It depends what you're doing on the ladder. Which direction you're going. That's the question. So standing still or going down, then you're going down. Irrelevant that you're higher on the ladder. The point is, a Yid has to, a Jew, wherever level he's in, His avodah is to go higher. And that avodah cannot be done by a tzaddik. To me, to go higher cannot be done by anybody but myself. To me, to change myself, to me, to become a better person cannot be accomplished and cannot be, and also cannot be stopped by anybody else. It's both. I can't blame anybody else that I'm not a good person or I'm not a godly person, but myself. Can't blame it on my wife, on my children, on my mother-in-law. I can't blame it on anybody but myself. So my journey is a personal journey. Every one of us is that we have that personal journey of becoming a better person, a godlier person, a holier person, a better person, and that's my avodah, that's my service. That is where it starts, and that's where it ends. So therefore, the Eibishter wanted, he brought again together this body and soul, so that we're not like an animal who cannot change from one to another. An animal will always be an animal and will never ever change its reality until Mashiach comes. That the prophet says that a lion will eat sheep, will not eat sheep anymore. Will eat tevin. Even the Rambam says Tevin is that a lion will start eating like a cow. Will eat grass. But the nature of a lion is to eat another animal. That's the way it is, and that's the way it was from beginning of time. And even as I said, the Rambam says that the prophet says it's only an analogy, that the lion will continue to eat other animals. That's the way God created it. Let's say the joke, the guy who comes to the zoo, he sees in the lion, then there's a sheep. He says, wow, this is Messianic time. That's what they're trying to show. This in the Messianic time, there's a sheep. So he turns to the Kurd and said, wow, how is there a sheep in the lion's den? So he said, don't worry, every day there's another sheep. So that's a lion. What is going to do? That's a lion, needs to eat, needs to have his food. He also has to survive like anybody else. So the lion will always be a lion, and the sheep will always be a sheep. But a human being has to be a mahalach. A human being, the Eibishter created the body and the soul separately. The lion was created, the body and the soul as one. And therefore, from the time he was created till he passes on, he will always be the lion. Human being was created a body and soul that are separate, that need to come together and need to ultimately help one another. The more I integrate my soul with my body, the more the body will become a better entity and will become a more spiritual entity and a godly entity, etc., until we have the total unity between body and soul. Yeah, you with me? That's the journey of the Tanya. How do we bring together a body? How do we bring together the body and the soul? That we learn to live with. We learn not only to live with one another, but we learn to inspire one another.
Yeah.
That the body and the soul inspire one another. That the body understands the greatness of the soul, and the soul understands the greatness of the body. And together we can live a godly life. Now the Eibishter gave us, that's what the Eibishter, God gave us a Torah. Without the Torah, we would never know how to live, how to integrate these two entities. It would be impossible to integrate these two entities. And therefore the Torah, the Gemara says that the Eibishter gave the Torah, which the Torah gives you the tools in a physical way to connect the body and the soul. So that's why even though when we eat, which is a physical thing, we say a bracha. We bring a bracha, we say a blessing. And we say a specific blessing for each thing that we eat. You understand that it's not only the food that we're eating, but it's also the sham, it's also the godliness that we're trying to accomplish through the eating or with the eating. And so far and so forth. The Gemara says that every person should say 100 brachas a day. 100 blessings a day. You have to thank God in an aspect of blessing at least 100 times a day. Baruch Hashem. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam. The blessing is not Baruch Hashem. A blessing is saying the blessing. So you have to.
You need a little counter like on the golf course.
There is a counter that it's brought down. It's explained. If you daven every day, Shachas, Mincha, Ma'ariv, you're getting close. And then if you wash every day and you eat bread and you say after blessings of bread.
You wash it every day?
What?
You wash it
No,
every day?
no,
No, it's on my
no,
hands.
no,
The hands.
no, but I should. First of all, most of us don't wash. Why? Because we don't want to do the long after blessings. So, right? Right? But think about that. Think about what I just said. I don't want to wash because I don't want to thank God too much. So and that's it. I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy to thank God. It sounds a little depressing, but it doesn't sound right. Right?
No, it
Doesn't sound right. Right? We should all wash. Why? Because we should want to thank God. Here we get an opportunity through our washing. We can thank God. We couldn't say these after blessings if we didn't wash. So we have when we don't forget when you wash for bread, you're making two blessings. You're washing, and then you eat the bread. That's two blessings, and then you're saying four blessings after. The time you eat bread, you have six. You have six blessings. Okay, so you're accomplishing six. If you wash in the morning, you wash at night, you got 12.
Wow.
Okay, and every time you drink water, you make a blessing, and every time you eat, so you accomplish blessings, a lot of blessings, and we shouldn't want to bless the Eibishter. We shouldn't want to diminish our birchas Hashem to thank God, right? We shouldn't want to really. The Gemara says you should thank God every breath you take, right? It's like a person gives you something, you say thank you. That's even though the person doesn't need to thank you. Hopefully, he gives you to you without a thank you. But a mensch is when somebody gives you something, you say thank you. Every breath that I take is a gift. So really, I should thank God every time I take a breath. Right? Every time you take a breath, you should say thank you. But maybe should understand that would keep you, then you wouldn't be able to do anything in life. You'll be saying thank you every second because every second you're taking whatever, you're taking a breath. So therefore, give him at least 100 thank yous, 100 brachas during the day, which you can accomplish. It's not the end of the world
And
to
then when you
accomplish.
bless Hashem, Hashem blesses you.
The extra icing on the cake, but the point of thanking God is Gemara says the point of thanking God is a principle of not being a kfui toiv. A kfui toiv. Kfui toiv means not be ungrateful. To thank him, he gives because the Eibush is a chesed. He gives kindness, unlimited kindness. He's not looking for the thank you. He loves to give. But for a human, for another person not to be ungrateful, he should say thank you. So the thank you is the same thing when I give. If I give you something, I'm not looking for the thank you. I shouldn't be looking for the thank you. I should be looking, I want to give you. But that you should say thank you is that it's important that you, or that when you give me something, I should say thank you. It's not important for you to thank you. It's important to me to thank you. That when I say thank you, I realize that I don't take things for granted. Right? I don't take you for granted. I take your kindness for granted. I don't take God's kindness for granted. I say thank you. We thank our wives, we thank our husbands, we thank each other because we shouldn't take nothing for granted. And everything's a blessing. Everything is I don't deserve. I don't deserve anything that somebody gives me. Truthfully, I don't deserve it. It's not like I did a job. I am that you give me a gift. It's a matana. The Eibishter gives us a gift. It's a gift. It's a matana. It's a gift. I should say thank you. In essence, I should say thank you, and I do say thank you. For my neshama. I just told you a bracha. I make a bracha for my neshama. Now it's interesting that we say the neshama has 4 comes through four worlds. We should realize the intricate of the neshama. Our neshama has a very intricate, very spiritual reality. It comes from four worlds. It comes through four worlds. It has a journey to come into me every morning. It journeys through from a world of purity to a world of creation, to a world of formation. It comes into my reality. It comes into my reality. Why? Because I should realize the greatness of my neshama. I should realize that this soul is extremely, extremely an unbelievable entity. It's not just like the body. It's something that's far beyond my physical reality. It's a chelik, as the Alter Rebbe started the chapter. It's a part of God above. And ultimately, this part of God above comes into this physical body, a fachtabi. God blew it into me. And it's so spiritual that we say, the Eibishter needs to make sure that it stays in me. Why? Because my neshama, imagine my neshama, my godly soul comes into my body, and 99.9% is not integrated with the body, right? Because the body is doing everything what it wants to do, right? My animalistic soul and my body is busy a whole day, and I give my soul a blink of hair, I give him a nod here, a shalom aleichem there, right? So the neshama, that's why the neshama is compared to a flame. It constantly wants to leave the body. Out of here.
Yeah.
The Eibishter says no. Neshama b'kibi. The Eibishter says, I'm going to keep it in the body. I want you to stay in this body, even though you're forced to live. Ultimately, it's not an everlasting situation. Not the party one day is going to end until Mashiach comes.
Yeah.
But if not, the party comes to an end. It's going to come one day to an end. The Eibush is going to take this neshama and say, it's time to come home. You're right. You wanted to leave, and now it's time to come home. But we know at that moment the neshama doesn't want to leave. So that's why, right? That's why the Mishnah says you're forced to live. The neshama is forced to live in this world. And when the neshama says that you need to leave, the neshama says, wait a second, it's worth it that one moment. Even though, right? Even though 99% of the time I do know, but that one mitzvah was unbelievable. That one moment in life, that one moment of every day that the Yid did a mitzvah, wow, it was unbelievable for me. I don't want to lose that moment. And they would say, you're forced to leave. Even though that moment is unbelievable, you're still forced to leave. Says in the Shema, don't worry. And he says, you're going to return it to me, you lost it, love it. Right? The verse, you're going to return it to me, lost it, love it. Mashiach comes. And the Eibishter said, promise, God promises that he's going to return it to me.
We'll be back.
We continue the bracha. If I realize, as long as the neshama isn't with me, I have to acknowledge, don't take it for granted. So I need to realize I can't take my neshama for granted. It's not something that this is a gift that the Eibishter gave me. It's a gift. It's not something that I have acquired on my own. It's something that the Eibishter gives me either to use or to abuse. And it's a gift, Nashama. And don't abuse the gift. Should never abuse it. That's why the Alter Rebbe today in the Tanya wrote, you have to have Rachmanis on the Shalas. We need to create a concept of mercy on ourselves. Awaken a mercy on ourselves. We have to realize that our neshamas that are so godly And it doesn't make a difference what kind of special person I am. Ultimately, I'm a physical person, and my soul is so spiritual, and it has to come into this physical reality. We have to have Rahmanis on our neshama.
It really starts.
Not for the body, for the neshama.
Let me show you.
But that's not for the body. The party is here. The real party is here for everything, for the neshama and the body. The real party is here. It's the real party here, because that's the party, the unity of body and soul. That's the whole purpose of creation. That's the party. That's why it's brought down. Life is like a party.
Yeah.
Wedding. It's called Yom Hilula, passing of the soul. The life is like a Hilula. It's like a party. It's like a wedding. Everybody comes to the wedding for different reasons. Some comes to the wedding because they're related to the chassan. Some comes to the wedding because they're related to the kala. Some comes for the food. Some come for the booze. Some come for the dancing. Some come for the gifts. Some come for the beauty. Everybody comes for some different reason. We all come to the wedding. We all enjoy the wedding for different reasons.
But we have to remember with one tuchus, you can't dance at two weddings.
Yeah, but this is Baruch Hashem, one long wedding. It's one long wedding.
You are.
But the beauty of this example is actually, the Alter Rebbe explains in a different way that every one of our neshamas that come to the world come from a different prototype of these four worlds.
Yeah.
Some of us are more spiritual. We come to the music of the wedding. We hear the music. So most of us don't hear the music. Okay, beautiful. The shaman
makes the music.
Shaman comes to the music. Some of us come for the music of the wedding.
What?
Of the wedding. They come for the pure reason of the wedding. They feel the simcha of the wedding. They feel the joy in the wedding. The chas and kala, the chuppah. They feel the unity. Here they came to the wedding because here came about chas and kala, came about the unity, a new beginning, new dimension of the world happened over here. This is a spiritual reality. This is the beauty of the wedding. They come from the world. They come from the world of Atzilus. They come to the world. They see the beauty of the world. They see the spiritual beauty of the world. They come for a spiritual journey. And that's why you can have a neshama. Your neshama can be a neshama of the world of Atzilus. You come to the world to see, that's tzaddikim. Tzaddikim come to the world. They see the beauty of the world. They see the godliness in the world. That's their journey. Their journey, they don't care about they live a physical life, but it's not important to them. To them is their spiritual journey. And ultimately, some of us come, Asiya, some of us are more connected to the physical. We like the food. We're coming for the food. And therefore, you ask, how was the wedding? Oh, the food was good. Or, how was the wedding? The food was lousy. That wedding, the food was lousy. That's what you went to the wedding. Yeah, the food is lousy. Shvacha portions, very lousy food. It was no good. That's it. So that's what they came to the wedding for. That's it. That's what they came to the wedding for.
And the band was horrible.
Right? The band was horrible. Whatever. Everybody comes for something else, right? And that's what that's the beginning of that. So you some people are more come to the world. They see the world in a very physical way. The neshama is more connected to Asiya. They realize that avodah is in the physical world, and therefore, not a tzaddik or the guy who comes to the world in a physical way is better or worse. We all have a different mission in this world. And some of us are more intellectual, and some of us are more emotional, and some of us are more indifferent, and some of us are more spiritually, musical inclined, and some of us are more hands inclined, and some of us are more going to be the tzaddik of the generation, or going to be the Rosh Hashiva, and he's going to be the rabbi, or whatever, the great rabbi. And some of us are going to be the hands-on people, and the schleppers, and the ones who carry it, and the ones who accomplish are the feet of the generation. That's life. And nobody's more or less needed. Nobody is more or less needed. because the tzaddik knows he cannot accomplish anything if he doesn't have the feet of the generation that are going to make it happen, are going to make it ultimately his imagination and his learning is going to come into a reality. And that's why the great sages say, I've learned a lot from my teachers. I've learned even more from my chaverim, my fellow rabbis, but I've learned more from my students. But my students brought me to places that I would never ever gone and never accomplished. So that's what a tzaddik makes a regular person understand. It's like the Gemara says, the rich man, more than the rich man gives to the poor man gives to the rich.
Yeah.
The tzaddik gives to the simple person. The simple person gives to the tzaddik because we give to each other. Every person, every human being is needed in a physical sense and in a spiritual sense. And so therefore, the Alter Rebbe, he says, even though ultimately, where you might decide which level of your neshama comes from, and that's the reality, you're not going to be able to change that, because that's where my neshama came from. My neshama came from the world of Asiya, and a very, very basic set level of soul, but we're ultimately part of the same journey. And therefore, we need to tzaddik, and we need to Beinoni, we need to Rasha, we need every entity in this world. Yes.
If my neshama is coming from Asiya, the world of Asiya, my goal should be to acquire
Correct.
higher levels.
To higher
right?
levels.
Even if I can't-
Because your neshama has that higher levels. The point over here is your neshama does have that higher levels. Just because your neshama comes from the world of Asiya, it had to travel through the world of Atzilus. It ultimately had to come through that. It had to come through the world of Atzilus. So it's not like it doesn't have it. It's just in a revealed way, it's in the world of Asiya. That's it. In a revealed way, because that's your avodah. That's my service. My service is to do a ma'aser ikar. The action is important. But a lot of people want to be spiritual. What it says, a person, you have a baker, decides he's going to cut diamonds. Oh, by the way, a diamond cutter is going to decide I'm going to be a baker. Baker is a very important thing. We need bread. But if the Eibishter gave you a talent to be a diamond cutter, then that's a sin.
You don't know the recipe.
It's a sin.
Right.
That's a sin because even though baking is an important thing and we need bread, but the Eibishter gave you a talent. And if the Eibishter gave you another talent, then that shows that that's the avodah you need to do. But we're always looking for the easy way out. So Eibishter wanted that each and every person should use their talent out to the fullest. Want to be somebody else. We want to be somebody else. We think that being somebody else, being the tzaddik, is the easy way out. Spiritual. So once I be spiritual, I don't have to be anymore. I don't need to do any more physical things. And that's not true. The Eibishter wanted that a person should be. Last night you should have watched. I put on a gem video. You should watch those videos, and the Rebbe brings this out, this concept. Some people were shocked, when they were getting a degree. One of the Rabbi Teldin last night in the gem. Dr. Laz from downtown, a musician. So he tells a story. He came about Tshuva. He was coming from, and he had two things. Either be two roads to go, to either become a rabbi or to finish his college degree. He told his father, he told his father, said, either become a rabbi or finish your college degree. So he said to his father, I'm going to ask the Rebbe. I'm going to ask. He said, when you get up in the morning and you need a drink, you ask the Rebbe. So he said, what's your problem? So, because he thought the Rebbe was going to say, become a rabbi. So he wrote to the Rebbe, he said, I have these two avenues, I can finish my degree, or I can go to yeshiva and become a rabbi. What should I do? And the Rebbe answered him, you finish your degree.
Yeah.
So suddenly his father said, I like the rabbi, I like the rabbi.
Wise man.
So he was shocked. The Rebbe told him to finish, go back to college to finish his degree. No, but ultimately brought him to, because the Rebbe said, in essence, if that's your talent, you're able to use your talent out for Kedusha. You need to finish your degree, to finish your talent, and then use out that talent. Your talent doesn't disagree with your spiritual life. You use that talent out ultimately to serve the Eibishter. He's a wonderful man.
Wonderful.
He's a wonderful person. He's wonderful. But the Rebbe said, you have to. That's why you need a tzaddik. Sometimes you think you're going to become, you think that your service will go away from the world. No, the Rebbe said, no, that's not your avodah, is to go away from the world. Your avodah is to go into the world. And your service to God is to go into the world. And then take the world and use it out for, take the world by the horns and you use it out for a davar. That's your avodah. Don't try to run away from what the Eibishter brought you to the world to come. Yiddishkeit is not a crux to run away from the world. It's not a concept to run away from reality. It's a concept to use out reality. Use out reality.
Yes.
Whatever. Use to God. Ani, the expression of the Pirkei Avos. Ani lo nivresi el shamash eskaini. I was created to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I was created wherever I am, whether I'm going to be the next righteous man or righteous woman, or I'm going to be the next scientist, or I'm going to be the next garbage collector, or whatever I'm going to be. It doesn't make a difference. I'm here to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm here to serve God. So whether I'm from the world of Asiya or I'm from the world of Atzilus, they all have the same concept. I'm here to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Any situation that I am in. The story of, I don't even know what time it is. They say a story of Mendel Futterfatz. He was a great rabbi who was in Russia. He was thrown into the Gulag for 20 years. Mendel Futterfatz, many stories of this rabbi. He was thrown into the Gulag for teaching Torah. And he was a happy Jew. I knew him. He ultimately survived. He came to America. He was a Hasidic casket, like the Russian casket.
He used to stand back.
That's correct. He was in the side, the real holy Jew. So he he used to farbring. He was a big farbringer. He used to farbring with the students. Great Jew, real Hasidic Jew. So he said that when he came to the Gulag, imagine. He was thrown into the Gulag. The Stalin and Machshemai threw him into the Gulag. He took all the intellectuals at that time. He took all the intellectuals and all the doctors and all the professors. He locked them up into this Gulag. It was a very depressing place. Imagine he was surrounded by brutes and by very high intellectual people. All of them were depressed. And here, this chassid, this Jew, is thrown into this mixture. And he once was asked by his pieces, why aren't you depressed? Don't you realize that this is going to be your life? And this is, you lost everything, that you lost everything in life. So he said to them, listen, you, Taga, lost everything in life. Feel bad for you. You lost everything in life. What's your life? You were doctors, you were lawyers, you were great politicians, whatever you thought your life was. I also lost that, but I'm still a Jew.
Yeah.
That's my life is being a Jew. That's my life. I daven every day. I learn every day. I serve God every day. That doesn't change. That changed in my life. That continues every day of my life. He was not a Rebbe. The Mendel Futterfass never was a Rebbe.
They let him have
He
books.
was, no, he knew it by heart. He knew it by heart. He knew it. Daven, and he still learned, and he still served the Eibishter. He says, not a problem. You can still be a Yid. You cannot take away ultimately the Frierdiker Rebbe said, you take the guf into Gullus, you can take the body into exile. You can't take the neshama into exile. You cannot bound the neshama. The neshama continues to be free. The spirit continues to be free. The spirit should never, ever be in Gullus. That's the sadness when the spirit, when the neshama goes to Gullus, that is sad. When the body goes into Gullus, that's the nature of the body to be abused. But the neshama should never be abused. The neshama should always be free. The neshama should always be the concept of he has total freedom. And that's the beauty. We should never, ever, as I said, a Mendel Futterfass, they say the story, the famous story of Rav Zusha. I'm sure you heard the story. Yes, you did. Story 100 times. But they say the story of Rav Zusha Melech, with two great Chassidic rabbis. This was the time of the Alter. They once were traveling, these two Jews, two brothers. Rav Zusha was always a happy Jew. Rav Melech was always the serious Jew. They were both big Talmidei Chacham and great sages. And they were brothers. Rav Melech, one was actually very wealthy and one was very poor. Rav Melech was wealthy, Rav Zusha was poor. And they decided to take upon themselves Gullus. They were going to take upon themselves to go away, travel, to go away, right? Go away from, nobody would know who they are. And they would travel through the cities and teach simple Jews. And they came one time into a city late at night, and the policeman decided I saw these two Jews, decided to have fun with them. So he stopped them. He said, "You saw me robbers." Robbers, two poshets. Robbing two elderly Jews. Where are you going? Going to the show. We're going to the basic. He threw them into the jail. Threw them into jail. A bunch of robbers and rapers and murderers. Two elderly Jews are sitting by themselves. And he comes in. They come in the morning. The jail guy comes in the morning. And he puts a pail. And he walks into the jail room. He puts a pail in the middle of the room. And he says, "Okay, good morning, everybody, right? You're going to have to, whatever, what's the pail? Okay, pishing. You're going to have to use it as your latrine, right?" Line up and they're all pishing. And Rav Zusha turns to Rav Zusha and says, "What are we going to do? This turned into a bathroom. We can't daven. Pray." Rav Zusha says, "Wow, that must be a sign of God. The Eibush doesn't want it to daven. So we have to be joyful. We have to thank God." Right? So he says, "Let's get up and we'll dance around the pail." Right? Right? And Zusha gets up and he starts dancing around the pail. The Goyim was watching this Jew dance on the pail. Say he said the guy must see some angels coming out of the pail. So they all get up and they start doing the gazak. They all get up and start doing the hop kazak around the pail, the horror around the pail. The policeman, the gentleman comes in, "What's going on over here?" He says, "I don't know. The Jew is dancing around the pail. We're all dancing around the pail. It must be something very special about the pail." The guy says, "A chutzpah, Jew's happy." Takes the pail out of the room. He says, "I'm going to take the pail out," right? So now Rav Zusha says, "Okay, Baruch Hashem, you see, now we can daven, we can pray." Rav Zusha got the pail. So that is a chassid, you know. That a chassid is that whatever the Eibush brings him to, whatever God brings him in any kind of situation, he's going to be happy. Because that's what is avodah. What's the avodah? What can he do right now in a jail with a pail? And what are you going to do about it? You're going to stand up and we'll be happy. And then the Eibush will work out the rest. how to stand off since we learned a lot of the Tanya.
Next time we see a pile of you know what, we should dance around. What's going on here?
Hashem, like I said yesterday, you know, we learned it says in Shulchan Aruch, as we go in next week into the Chodesh Av, this week was Shabbos Mevarchim Av, the Shulchan Aruch says, Shenichnas Av mematim b'simcha, that when the month of Av comes in, we diminish in our joy. And the Rebbe said, in a way, we're learning the Mishnah wrong. We learned the halacha wrong. It says, Shenichnas Av mematim. You have to put a comma after the word mematim. It says, Shenichnas Av, when the month of Av comes in, which naturally a human being, like the Alter Rebbe said, the Alter Rebbe once said, he said, if the Shulchan Aruch wouldn't say to fast on Yom Kippur, or to fast on Tisha B'Av, on Yom Kippur, who could eat? And on Tisha B'Av, who wants to eat, right? Who would want to eat on Tisha B'Av? Who every Jew understands that it comes the month of Av, it's a sad situation, it's a sad month. But the Mishnah says, how do you memayit this situation? How do you diminish the month of Av? And how you diminish it? The simcha, with joy. When Mishenichnas Av, memayitim, how do you diminish Av? Put a comma. And the answer is the simcha, with joy. Now a Yid has to realize that even though it comes the month of Av, we cannot lose our simcha. We cannot lose our joy. The Eibishter didn't want that we should stop having joy. The Eibishter just wanted that we should realize what is true joy. That the true joy in life is not the joy that we have, physicalities or these things that, buildings and beauty. True beauty is the Beis Hamikdash. True beauty is the Gilui Lakus. That's the true. That should be our true joy. The true joy should be the joy of the neshama. So even though we have a guf and a guf a neshama, we can have a true joy out of chitzonis, out of an external concept, or we can have simcha shel mitzvah. We can have true joy of our soul, the joy of that we have a godly neshama, and we have a very special soul within us. Wish you all a wonderful week. I want to wish you all an easy month of Av. And 9 days, as I said, we're not going to have a class next Sunday, and neither the following Sunday. Next Sunday, I'm not going to be in town. The following Sunday is Tisha B'Av. Let us hope that Mashiach comes before the following Sunday.
Yes.
And if Mashiach comes before surely Mashiach will come before the following Sunday. And the following Sunday will be a day of Yontif. Will be a day of joy. And we'll have more food. Should realize that this year, Tisha B'Av is on Shabbos. So we're going to be eating a lot of food on Tisha B'Av. Right?
Yeah. You have to,
Right? That shows you that Yom Kippur, if it falls on Shabbos, you're going to fast. But Tisha B'Av, that falls on Shabbos, we're going to eat. That shows you that Tisha B'Av could be pushed off, and Tisha B'Av can turn into a day of Yontif. So God bless you. May we turn into a day of Yontif. God bless
The thing I
you.
liked about this class is that this was a pure Rabbi Bookit class.